You've been sold a lie about what it means to be strong. You've been taught that strength means never showing emotion, never asking for help, never admitting weakness, dominating instead of leading, controlling instead of protecting, performing toughness instead of building character. And you bought it, because everywhere you look, that's what strength looks like. The loud guy, the aggressive guy, the guy who never bends, never breaks, never feels. But here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. That's not strength. That's fragility dressed up as toughness. It's a mask, a performance, a desperate attempt to hide the very weakness it claims to have conquered. And deep down, you know this, because real strength doesn't need to prove itself. Real strength doesn't need to perform. Real strength is quiet, grounded, and unshakable. Think about it. The guy who has to tell everyone how tough he is, he's terrified of being seen as weak. The guy who can't apologize, he's too fragile to admit error. The guy who dominates every conversation, he's too insecure to listen. That's not strength. That's fear masquerading as power. And the worst part? This fake toughness is destroying you. It's isolating you. It's preventing real connection. It's making you bitter, angry, and alone. Because you can't be vulnerable. You can't ask for help. You can't show up as human. And a life without vulnerability, without honesty, without humanity, that's not a life. That's survival mode. And survival mode is exhausting. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics understood what real strength looked like. And it wasn't what you've been sold. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire, the most powerful man in the world. And in his private journal, he wrote about his doubts, his struggles, his fears. That's strength. Epictetus was enslaved, beaten, broken physically, and he taught that true power is internal, not external. That's strength. Seneca faced exile, loss, and eventually execution, and he maintained his principles and his peace through all of it. That's strength. None of them performed toughness. They built character. And today, you're going to learn the 6 brutal Stoic laws that separate real strength from fake toughness. And I'm warning you now, this is going to challenge everything you've been taught about being a man. But if you're ready to stop performing and start being, if you're ready to destroy toxic patterns and build genuine power, then watch every second of this. Before we begin, do this right now. If you're serious about building real strength, like this video. Not later, right now. Drop a comment when something resonates, and share this with someone who's still confusing aggression with strength. Because this message matters, and the algorithm needs to know it. Let's destroy the lies and build something real. First law. Real strength admits weakness. Fake toughness hides it. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you admitted you didn't know something? That you were struggling? That you needed help? If you can't remember, that's not because you're strong. That's because you're performing. Real strength knows its limits. Fake toughness pretends limits don't exist. And here's the irony. The man who can admit weakness is stronger than the man who hides it. Because admission requires courage. Hiding requires fear. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote in his journal for himself, never intending anyone to read it. And what did he write? His weaknesses, his struggles, his doubts. I'm tired of people's ingratitude. I wonder if I'm doing this right. I'm frustrated by incompetence around me. The most powerful man in the world, admitting struggle. Was he weak? No, he was honest, and honesty is strength. Now, contrast that with the guy who can never admit he's wrong, who doubles down on every mistake, who blames everyone else when things go bad. That's not strength. That's ego protecting itself. That's fragility hiding behind bravado. Epictetus taught it's impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows. If you can't admit you don't know something, you can't learn. If you can't admit you're weak somewhere, you can't improve. The man who hides weakness stays weak. The man who admits it grows stronger. Think about the strongest people you actually respect, not the loudest, the strongest. Do they pretend to have it all together? Or do they openly work on their flaws? Do they hide their struggles, or do they share them and grow through them? Real strength is transparent. Fake toughness is defensive. Here's the shift. Stop hiding your weaknesses like they're shameful. Start treating them like information. You're weak at something? Good. Now you know where to build. You're struggling? Good. Now you know what to work on. You need help? Good. Now you know who your real people are. The practice. This week, admit one weakness to someone you trust. Not for sympathy, for accountability. I'm struggling with anger. I don't know how to handle this. I need help figuring this out. And watch what happens. Weak people will mock you. Strong people will respect you, because real strength admits weakness. Fake toughness hides it. And hiding weakness doesn't make you strong. It makes you brittle. Drop this in the comments. Admitting weakness is not weakness. It's honesty. Second law, real strength protects. Fake toughness dominates. There's a difference between being powerful and being dominating, and most men have never been taught the difference. So they confuse control with strength, intimidation with leadership, dominance with protection, and they wonder why people fear them instead of respecting them. Real strength protects. It creates safety. It builds up. It makes people around it better. Fake toughness dominates. It creates fear. It tears down. It makes people around it smaller. Seneca wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Not weakness, kindness, because kindness from a position of strength is powerful. Kindness from a position of weakness is exploited, but the Stoics were strong, so their kindness was a choice, not a necessity. Marcus Aurelius had absolute power. He could have crushed anyone who opposed him, dominated every room he walked into, ruled through fear, but he didn't. He ruled through principle, through justice, through protecting those under his care. That's strength. That's what real power looks like. Now think about the guy who dominates every conversation, who has to be right, who can't let anyone else shine, who controls through intimidation. Is that strength? No. That's insecurity. That's a man so fragile he can't handle anyone else being strong around him. Real strength lifts people up. It mentors, it teaches, it creates space for others to grow, because real strength isn't threatened by other people's strength. Fake toughness needs everyone else weak to feel strong. Here's the brutal question. Do people feel safe around you, or do they feel like they have to walk on eggshells? Do they feel built up or torn down? Do they feel protected or controlled? Your answer reveals whether you're strong or just performing toughness. The practice. In every interaction this week, ask yourself, am I protecting or dominating? Am I creating safety or fear? Am I building them up or tearing them down? And when you catch yourself dominating, stop. Choose protection instead, because the strongest men in history weren't the most aggressive. They were the most protective. They used their power to create safety, not fear. Real strength protects. Fake toughness dominates, and domination is just weakness with a loud voice. Third law, real strength feels everything. Fake toughness numbs everything. You've been taught that real men don't cry, don't feel, don't express emotion. Just shut it down, bottle it up, man up, and you've been doing that for years. And it's killing you because emotions don't disappear when you suppress them. They accumulate, they pressurize, they leak out as anger, bitterness, numbness, or explosion. The man who can't feel sadness can't feel joy either. The man who suppresses grief suppresses love. Emotional suppression doesn't make you strong, it makes you dead inside. Marcus Aurelius felt deeply. He lost 8 children, 8, And he didn't numb himself to the pain. He felt it. He processed it. He wrote about it. And that grief taught him compassion. It taught him about impermanence. It made him a better leader because he felt, he understood. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Notice he didn't say, don't feel. He said, react wisely. Feeling is not the enemy. Uncontrolled reaction is. But you can feel everything and still respond with wisdom. That's strength. Now contrast that with the guy who's so afraid of feeling that he numbs with alcohol, work, aggression, or isolation. The guy who calls emotion weakness. The guy who mocks vulnerability. That's not strength, that's terror. He's so afraid of his own emotions that he has to kill them before they surface. Here's the truth. The strongest men feel everything and act anyway. They feel fear and charge forward. They feel grief and keep moving. They feel pain and don't collapse. Feeling doesn't stop them, it fuels them, because they're not afraid of their humanity. The man who can sit with sadness without drowning is stronger than the man who runs from it. The man who can feel anger without exploding is stronger than the man who suppresses it. The man who can cry and still stand tall is stronger than the man who never lets a tear fall. The practice. Next time you feel something uncomfortable, sadness, fear, grief, don't numb it. Don't suppress it. Sit with it for 5 minutes. Feel it fully. Let it move through you. And notice you survive. You're still standing. The feeling passed. And you're stronger for having felt it. Because real strength feels everything. Fake toughness numbs everything. And numbness is not power. It's cowardice dressed as control. Fourth law, real strength builds others. Fake toughness tears them down. Pay attention to how a man treats people who can do nothing for him. People weaker than him. People below him in status. That tells you everything about whether his strength is real or fake. Real strength builds. It mentors younger men. It respects women. It protects the vulnerable. It lifts people up without needing credit. Fake toughness tears down. It mocks weakness. It disrespects people. It only helps when there's something to gain. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." Notice the mutuality, not dominate those weaker, not use people for gain. Mutual improvement. That's the mark of strength. Marcus Aurelius had advisors, generals, senators all around him. Many were incompetent, many disappointed him, and he could have crushed them, publicly humiliated them, asserted dominance, but he didn't. He corrected with dignity. He taught when he could. He replaced when necessary, but he didn't tear down for sport. Because tearing people down is what weak men do to feel strong. Now think about the guy who constantly puts people down, who mocks his friends, who belittles his partner, who needs everyone else to look small so he can look big. Is that strength? No. That's deep insecurity. That's a man who has no real power, so he steals it by diminishing others. Real strength doesn't need to diminish anyone. It's secure enough to celebrate other people's wins. It's confident enough to admit when someone else is better. It's grounded enough to build people up without fearing they'll surpass you. Here's the test. When someone around you succeeds, do you genuinely celebrate or do you subtly diminish it? When someone struggles, do you help or do you mock? Your answers reveal whether you're strong or just pretending. The practice. This week, actively build someone up. Mentor someone younger. Compliment someone genuinely. Help someone who can't repay you. Do it not for credit, but for character, because building others is how real strength proves itself. Real strength builds others. Fake toughness tears them down, and tearing people down is just weakness trying to feel powerful. Fifth law, real strength takes responsibility. Fake toughness blames everyone else. Every time something goes wrong in your life, you have a choice. take responsibility or blame someone else. And that choice reveals whether you're strong or just performing toughness. Real strength says, I caused this, I'll fix this, I own this. Fake toughness says, it's not my fault. They made me do it. The system is rigged. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Not be one when circumstances are perfect. Not be one when people treat you right. Be one. Period. That's responsibility. That's strength. Epictetus taught that you always own your response. Always. You don't control what happens to you, but you control how you react. And owning that reaction, that's where power lives. Now think about the guy who blames everyone else for his failures. His boss is holding him back. His partner doesn't support him. The economy is bad. Society is against him. Everyone else is the problem, never him. Is that strength? No. That's victimhood. That's someone handing all his power to external circumstances. And here's the brutal part. When you blame others, you give them your power. Because if they caused your failure, then they control your success. You're not in charge anymore, they are. That's not strength, that's surrender. Real strength says, this is my life. These are my choices. I own the results. Even when circumstances are unfair, even when you were genuinely wronged, you still own your response. And that ownership is what gives you power to change things. The practice. For the next week, notice how often you blame external factors for your problems. Then reframe. My boss is holding me back becomes, I haven't built skills valuable enough to demand better. My partner doesn't support me becomes, I haven't communicated my vision clearly. The system is rigged becomes, I need to learn how the system works and navigate it better. Is this fair? Not always, but it's powerful. Because blame is disempowering, responsibility is empowering. Real strength takes responsibility. Fake toughness blames everyone else. And blame is just weakness, refusing to own itself. Sixth law. Real strength serves something greater. Fake toughness serves itself. Here's the final law, and it's the one that separates boys from men. Real strength serves something beyond itself. A principle, a purpose, a community, a cause. Fake toughness serves only ego. The man who lives only for himself is weak. Not because selfishness is wrong, but because a life built entirely on self-interest collapses the moment self-interest is threatened. But a life built on purpose, on service, on something greater, that stands even when everything else falls. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule for glory. He ruled out of duty. He wrote, what brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee. He saw himself as part of something larger, the empire, the people, the future. And that purpose sustained him through plague, war, betrayal, and loss. Seneca wrote, no man can live happily who regards himself alone, who turns everything to his own advantage. You must live for another if you would live for yourself. Strength is built through service, through contribution, through mattering beyond your own survival. Now think about the guy who only cares about himself, his gain, his image, his pleasure. No loyalty, no commitment, no contribution. Just take. Is that strength? No, that's a child. That's someone who never grew past self-interest into purpose. Real strength asks, what can I build that outlasts me? Who can I serve? What legacy do I leave? Fake toughness asks, what can I get? How do I win? How do I look good? And here's the beautiful part. When you serve something greater than yourself, you become greater than yourself. You tap into strength you didn't know you had. Because purpose fuels you when motivation runs out. Service sustains you when pleasure fades. Legacy builds you into someone worth remembering. The practice. Define what you're serving beyond yourself. your family, your community, your craft, your principles. Write it down, then make decisions based on service to that purpose, not just service to your ego. Because the strongest men in history didn't live for themselves. They lived for something that mattered beyond their own survival. And that's what made them unstoppable. Real strength serves something greater. Fake toughness serves itself. And a life lived only for self is weak, no matter how tough it looks. Here's what happens when you live by these 6 laws. You admit weakness instead of hiding it, and you grow stronger. You protect instead of dominate, and people respect you. You feel everything instead of numbing, and you become human again. You build others instead of tearing them down, and you create legacy. You take responsibility instead of blaming, and you reclaim your power. And you serve something greater instead of just yourself, and you become someone worth being. This is real strength, not the performance, not the mask, not the aggression. Real strength is quiet, grounded, and built on character. Marcus Aurelius felt deeply and ruled wisely. Epictetus was broken physically and stood unshakable internally. Seneca faced death and maintained his principles. None of them performed toughness. They built strength. And now you know the difference. Fake toughness is loud. Real strength is quiet. Fake toughness proves itself constantly. Real strength doesn't need to. Fake toughness dominates. Real strength protects. Fake toughness hides weakness. Real strength admits it and grows. Stop performing. Start building. Stop hiding. Start being. Stop dominating. Start protecting. The world doesn't need more fake toughness. It needs real strength, and real strength starts with you. Today, drop in the comments. Real strength builds. Fake toughness performs. I choose strength. If this challenged you, like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. We're building a community of real strength here. Subscribe for more brutal Stoic truth every week. Make it count.